I was in a different time zone, but it wasn't the end of the world. Her college friends that added me on Snapchat had reported a few times that she was hanging out with a guy I knew from her graduation class. When I confronted her, she was very defensive and told me I was being overprotective and I was the only guy for her. Within the first 2 months of my deployment, she had completely cut off my family and started to contact me only when she needed something. Welcome to my luxury coach ride straight to hell. I'm Magic, and this is Magic's Monologue. This story is a good lesson for you young guys on what not to do in a relationship and how it's very important for young men to be properly mentored by older, more experienced masculine men. In this story, you will see why nice guys not only finish last, but sometimes don't even finish at all. First, hit that thumbs up button to help other men see my work. Hit the subscribe and the bell, immediately notified when I post new videos. Of course, I want all your comments below. If you have been burned by cheating a partner, please tell your story or send it to me. Head to the back of the coach, to the mini bar, grab a cold one, and let us get this party bus rolling down to the river Styx. I'm lost right now. I, 21-year-old male, was dating my best friend, 20-year-old female, from high school. Let's call her Peg. Peg and I were best friends prior to us dating for the last 2 years, and she was amazing before I proposed. Slap to the back of the head. In today's world, you don't get married until you're in your late 20s, if not 30s if you're a guy. So you have a sense of who you are and what to watch out for in women. This married high school sweethearts thing was fine in your grandparents' day. However, it's a different era. People no longer have the same values. In December of 2022, we had been dating for 1.5 years when I proposed to her. Come here. Back of the head. Too young. I'm in the military, and I was going on deployment soon for several months. During the time I was gone, she was graduating with an associate's degree, and she was turning 20. So I booked her a cruise with my family to the Caribbean in July. A third slap to the back of the head. 1. Thanks for your service. I sincerely mean that. 2. I do not believe young military men should get married while they're in the military. Wait until you get out, then get married. There are just too many predatory women taking advantage of young, dumb, and full of cum. I realize you wanted to lock her down as so many do, and as so many live to regret. After our initial engagement, everything seemed to change. She treated me differently. The bedroom went dry. She stopped being overly supportive, and I started to feel that my feelings were being invalidated. Well, yes, she got you. She was confident that you were not going anywhere. And for many men, this is when the disrespect starts. This is what can happen when a woman realizes you are more invested in the relationship than she is. I have confidence issues from previous relationships, and I was cheated on previously. The way she treated me mimicked my past experience. So when I left for deployment, I felt very nervous about leaving her at home. So you have a history of attracting emotionally disconnected women? Because women like this will cheat on you like clockwork. On deployment, I was able to stay in contact and video call daily with her. I was in a different time zone, but it wasn't the end of the world. Her college friends that added me on Snapchat had reported a few times that she was hanging out with a guy I knew from her graduation class. When I confronted her, she was very defensive and told me I was being overprotective and I was the only guy for her. Yeah, right. What is this? The fourth or fifth flag you've ignored? The military has a term for Mr. I was being overprotective and I was the only guy for her, Jody. Within 2 months of my deployment, she completely cut off my family and started to contact me only when she needed something. I'm a classic gentleman, which I think is part of your problem. So her graduation rolled around and I gifted her with flowers from across the globe. But upon arrival of the flowers, she never thanked me or let me know they arrived. Her mom thanked me for the thoughtfulness and let me know she was annoyed to receive flowers if it wasn't there to give them to her. I was very confused and I felt underappreciated and let her know this. But she told me that she had changed and if I didn't agree with her change, then I needed to leave. Again, you're so needy, you pretend not to see the giant red flags. The only thing missing on that flag is the hammer and sickle. That's how big it is. The following months, she was very cold. Didn't talk to me much. When we did talk, she would argue about little things, and in one instance, she compared me to the guy I mentioned previously. Let's call him Trey, 19. A few weeks later, my birthday rolled around, and she didn't post to me on any social media. I didn't receive an appreciation paragraph, but I did receive a single happy birthday baby, and that was it. It's not much, but it hurts, and I felt everything I'd worked hard for and built up was slipping away fast. Dude, your relationship has already pulled an Elvis. It's left the building. We had plans and promises set. We had a wedding planned, and I had been close to paying it off. My groomsmen had already been fitted for their suits, and the bridesmaids' dresses were already purchased. Red flag after red flag began popping up for me, and I had so many regrets, but deep down I really did love her and wanted to make it work. When I told her how I felt that I was losing her, she told me she didn't find me attractive anymore and wished I was taller. She also stated that I had changed and she didn't love who I was anymore. Prior to the cruise to the Caribbean, she had been going out with her friends very often. They had a meetup spot in our hometown, but the spot had changed to the house of Trey. I had her location and knew where he lived because of high school, but when I questioned her, she denied his house being the new meetup spot. Shortly after, she removed me from viewing her location on her phone. She began hanging out with her friend group every day after I confronted her, but when I asked for a picture of her and the girls, she refused. At this point in our relationship, she was 2 weeks away from the dream cruise with my family, and she didn't show any interest in being there for me, even in my hardest times. So let me get this straight. She gave you all this disrespect, and you still allowed her to go on the cruise? Because me personally, I would have canceled that puppy and just taken the hit and say, sorry, bitch, you ain't going. Dude, your relationship is over. The only person who doesn't know it is you. My mental health was shot, and she didn't help any. I was already balancing the idea of leaving, but I just couldn't talk myself into it. The cruise rolled around, and I purchased the 5G Wi-Fi package so she could talk to me for 5 days. She left me on read and never sent a single photo of the cruise. I sent her good morning and good night texts every day, and tried to check in to ensure she was having a good time. My mother and stepfather were on the cruise, and they told me they barely seen her, and she made friends on the ship. I was extremely nervous about her not contacting me, but I tried to tell myself there was a good reason behind it. Okay, so you are a child of a single mom. You didn't have a proper masculine man around to teach you self-respect, self-assurance, and how relationships really work. Yes, you now have a stepdad, but I can't help but wonder if he's weak. If it had been me and many of my viewers, my future daughter-in-law's behavior would have been called out, and I would have been damn sure to find out what the hell was going on based upon her behavior on that cruise. When the cruise ended, she flew back to my hometown and contacted me. She sent me a text that said, "We need to talk when you have a chance." Yes, the dreaded words every man does not want to hear. And within 5 minutes, I called her. She told me she was canceling our wedding. She wanted to do another 2 years of college, and she didn't want to move to my duty station with me. No, she wanted her free cruise, strung you along, got what she wanted, made you her bitch, and now she's dumping you. I call bullshit on that. She wanted her freedom to get run through by Chad and Trey and every other Jody. She never thanked me for the cruise, nor talked about it. But when she told me her plans, I immediately broke up with her. Oh, so now you're getting some balls. In that instance, I felt as if I'd already lost her, and the damage to myself emotionally and mentally would only grow worse if I stayed. And the financial burden from the canceled wedding and college was already wrapping my head into knots. I felt sick, and all I could do was cry. She flipped shit when I left her and was pissed off that I wasn't going to support her going to college, and tried to undress and convince me to stay with her. So I guess she was trying to tempt you with a video call and use her body. I hung up on her and broke down. I'm not sure if it was the right decision. I still love her, and she attempts to reconcile every day by blowing up my phone. I changed my phone number, and now she messages me on social media and emails me. I'm not sure how I feel other than emotionally broken and depressed. But if anyone has any insight on this, please feel free to let me know. Let me say this in a way that you will understand. If you take her back, then you are the biggest Delta Alpha in history. Once a cheater, always a cheater. At this point, you've agreed to be her bitch for so long, she'll never see you any other way. The greatest power you have is to walk away. Additionally, you need to see a brain ranger while you're in. You've got some serious self-esteem issues, and you attract broken women. It's easy to think of yourself as a victim here. However, we're men. Therefore, I'm going to give it to you straight. In this relationship, you weren't a victim. You were a volunteer. How you view yourself, relationships, and women need to change. You've bought into the Disney Hallmark Channel fantasy about romance and women, and it's just not true, as you've just experienced. In the comments below, give this young man advice, your thoughts, your experiences, so other men may also benefit from it. If you have a story to share, or you see one on the internet you think I should cover, send it to stories@magicsmonologue.com, and I'll anonymously share it if you wish, so others can learn from your mistakes, your victories, and your joys. Stop right now and give me a thumbs up to help other men see this video. If you haven't subscribed, do so and help me reach my goal of 1,100 by December. Don't forget to click the community link on my channel page and take my surveys. Finally, Check out my other full-length videos on my page, which are guaranteed to help educate men, definitely piss off most women. Until the next video.